Hi guys, welcome to Rationality, Reason, and Reality. I'm Supernova, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the idea of political correctness. Now this is an idea that's been around a long time. I remember when I was a kid, I used to hear about it a lot, and I heard about it in a negative connotation from my conservative parents, and I thought about it the same way. I thought, wow, what a pain in the butt. It's just too much effort. These terms keep changing. You can't keep up with it. But now that I'm a liberal, I understand it's stupid arguments. Yes, politically correct terms often do change because the connotation and the meaning behind terms also changes. You can't help that. Just use of the word builds its meaning, and if you introduce a new term out there, it's going to be used sometimes negatively, and something that was once positive becomes negative, or even vice versa. So that's just the way it is. But even if you offend somebody, even if you were to call black a Negro, for instance, which used to be acceptable but isn't anymore, you just apologize. You say, I didn't mean to offend you. Hopefully that's true, that you didn't mean it. And then you just don't repeat the mistake. You learn what the new term is and move on. And it doesn't even matter what the term is. If a black, for instance, wants to be called an African American and they are neither African nor American, who cares? Call them that anyway. It's just what they want to be called. We all universally, atheists and theists, believe in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We don't want to offend people. We find that morally wrong. So don't. That's the whole point of political correctness, that you offend as few people as you possibly can. And so I want to talk about a couple examples of Christians being politically incorrect. I'd like to fix this. The first one would be the term of Darwinism. Generally, scientists don't use the term Darwinism. I have heard it used. There's a book called The Moral Animal in which the author describes a whole lot of ways that we derived our morals through evolution, or at least he's making that argument. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but nonetheless, he kept calling it Darwinism, and I thought that was really weird because he agreed with evolution. He didn't have a problem with it, and it's so weird for that sort of point of view. But nonetheless, most of us don't call it Darwinism for two good reasons. Number one, it seems to imply that the theory rises and falls on Darwin, which is, first of all, a logical fallacy. It's a genetic fallacy. It's a form of ad hominem. It doesn't matter who made the argument, true or not, based on the evidence and argument. And Darwin was just the first to present the evidence and argument. It's been built on years and years after that by many other biologists with more evidence and more argument. It's not the exact same thing that Darwin came out with. So it seems silly to call it Darwinism for any reason. And number two, it's got an ism at the end. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it has a negative connotation. A lot of people think of Nazism and fascism and stuff. I've even seen a video on YouTube where somebody referred to evolution as evolutionism, which doesn't change the meaning. It just adds the negative connotation of ism. Now, unfortunately, people who believe in creation are seen as creationists who believe creationism, which I think is why they try to come up with other titles for it, such as intelligent design. And I understand that. I don't know why anybody would want to go by, well, that's not true. I am an atheist and I go by atheism, and that does have a negative connotation, which is why I think a lot of people go by agnostic. But nonetheless, if you can avoid it, I think generally that helps your image. On the topic of atheist and agnostic, I don't generally join these fights about the difference between them. Generally, that's politically correctness right there. People want to be called a specific term. I prefer atheist. I never went by the term of agnostic, but it wouldn't offend me. When somebody who I believe is an atheist would prefer to be called an agnostic, I'll call them that. Why not? It's no trouble at all. There's nothing for me to pay in doing that. It's free. It costs nothing, and you don't offend someone. Some Christians even want to be known as agnostic Christians. I'll call them that. Even if I technically think they're wrong, it's just not worth the battle. The other major political correctness error that Christians make is with the gay community. If I hear a gay referred to as a homosexual, it's almost always somebody who's opposed to that. Now, homosexual may technically be the correct term. I mean, it is. It's fitting. It only describes one thing, and it is a gay person. But yet, they prefer to be called gays. I think everybody knows, everybody has heard the term gay. People have heard gays refer to themselves as the gay community. We know that that's a non-offensive term, and yet Christians always want to call them homosexuals. Now, this isn't as offensive as many terms. I don't think I've ever heard a gay person called a homosexual and they say, "Don't call us that." But seriously, it's biased. It is an attempt to give them a negative stigma. The term does not have a positive feeling behind it. And those same people who use the term homosexual almost never refer to straight people as heterosexuals. They prefer straight because that implies that gays are bent or crooked. So they choose the biased terms in both ways. And please don't do that. You're offending gay people, even if they don't tell you to stop. You know that they don't like being called homosexuals. Don't do it. Don't talk about them as homosexuals. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I welcome your comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.